Man, I think some of us just found a loophole to get custody of our kids depending on where we live, which is to become a transformer. Look, before you shoot down the idea, I want you to think about whether you would rather pay 18 years of child support or have full custody of your kid, and then we can have a discussion after you've given me your answer. Now, I'm not saying that this will work for everybody or it will work at all. However, one brave man, or should I say them, they have used this loophole and is fighting his baby mama in the courts for custody of his kids, and people who are reading Rainbow are beside themselves. I honestly don't even know what to call this man or how to address him for the purpose of this video because I don't follow the pronoun thing at all. I know nothing about that, and I don't want to know anything about it because I think it's goofy. However, some of you might want to start identifying as a woman if that means you can get custody of your kids, depending on where in the world you live. We are going to dive into the article of a man that has successfully pulled off this finesse soon, but I think it's crazy where we are today with the whole identifying saga. If I were to go in a time machine a couple of decades ago and tell the past me that in 2023, this is what people are doing these days, I would not believe a single word. But here we are today, witnessing the decline in real time. Now, I'm wondering how far we are going to go with all these 100 genders, identification, and pronoun fiasco, because it can't get worse than this, right? I even heard they changed the definition of woman the other day. Man, this just seems goofy to me. Maybe you guys are glued into all of these coping mechanisms in society, and you guys are fine with all of this, but it's just too much for me. I can't keep up. With that said, let's dive into the darn article and hear what this man did and what it could mean for men going forward if he wins this case. Today's article is by the New York Post, and it's titled, "Punished Dad Legally Changes Gender to Female in Bid to Gain Custody of Kids." I don't know about you guys, but I think it's a genius move on his part. He saw the loophole, and he took it for his children, which shows you that many men really care about their kids and want to be in their lives. But the system and XXs don't want men to raise their kids. They want the money attached to child support, which is why society is where it is today, and very few traditional families are left in the West. I think it's sad how we sell out our kids for money and act as if we are doing what's best for them. I even heard Coach Greg Adams say that child support is nothing more than a means for women to punish the father for leaving the relationship, and I 100% agree. These XXs would rather destroy their kids' future for money, and that is why the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. Overwhelmingly, single mother-raised kids have a significant disadvantage in society. They are far more likely to become losers or criminals, and we praise XXs and call them princess warriors for destroying future generations. And this is not me saying this. This is statistical evidence proving that children primarily raised by women are effed. On the contrary, kids that are raised primarily by men, especially black men, tend to do very well. But of course, kids raised in a two-parent household have the best chance of being contributing members of society, and that is what we need more of. Unfortunately, modern women don't want to do that. Their mindset is of the world and not of God, and this is why we have the problems that we have today, because kids are not being raised by two parents anymore. Sadly, we can't do right by our kids because of how selfish and reckless we are as a society, but it is what it is. This is why in this space, we recommend either not having kids overseas and leaving them over there while supporting them, hiring a surrogate, or adopting a kid. None of us can guarantee that the woman we choose will be a team player and make it possible to raise our kids from childbirth into adulthood as a family. So I would not recommend the traditional means of having kids. That's just my advice. You can do whatever you want at the end of the day, but when it goes left, you'll have nobody to blame but yourself. All right, gents, let's dive into the article. A father has legally changed his gender identification in an attempt to gain custody of his two young daughters following a bitter split from his wife. René Salinas Ramos, age 47, is now listed as female on official documents in his native Ecuador, despite the fact he still identifies as a cisgender male in his everyday life. The desperate dad claimed he made the drastic decision due to the justice system in his country, which he said typically benefits mothers in custody cases. Being a father in this country, Ecuador, is punished and only seen as a provider, Ramos told local outlet La Voz del Tombamba. What I have been looking for is to give the love and protection that a mother can give her children. Hey, passport bros, where you guys at? I thought the women overseas were better, but apparently not. Even in Ecuador, where women are supposed to be more feminine and loyal, their local men still can't win. What you guys don't understand is that the legal system in many of these Western countries is very similar to the legal system in America, and they favor women. Not only that, womanism is worldwide, so don't think you're going to completely escape the womanist ideology just because you left America or any other first world country. And I don't even need to touch on the reading rainbow thing because it's obvious that it's prevalent in Ecuador as well. But I have to say I am glad that this gentleman, who seems to be a good father, has a chance to fight for his kids and possibly win over custody. I hope he wins. I don't think it's fair that these courts get to rip kids from their dads when the father wants to be in their kid's life and wants to provide for and protect the children. In my opinion, it is an evil system because they are penalizing the fathers for money and not because they are looking out for the kids' best interests, and it's sad that we do that. Let's continue. Ramos alleged that his daughters currently live in an abusive environment with their mother and claimed he hasn't seen his children in more than 5 months. The laws say that the one who has the right is the woman. As of this moment, I am female. Now, I'm also a mom. That's how I consider myself. Ramos told media assembled outside the city of Cuenca's civil registry office on December 30th. I am very sure of my sexuality. What I have sought is that I want to be a mother so that I can also give the love and protection of a mother. Gents, all this man wants to do is raise his damn kids and they won't let him. I have to wonder how these people sleep at night, knowing they are taking away a man's right to raise his kids for some paper that we put a value on. Money isn't even a real thing, and this is what these cream gobblers do to get it. Look, gents, to me, the message that these XXs send is clear. Money is more important than family and their kids' future. But they're so selfish that they would rather destroy their kids than let the kid have a relationship with the dad. How effed up would it be if men were doing this to women? This is sick, guys, but it is what it is. We can't change the laws, but I guess we can change our genders in Ecuador and have a fighting chance to be in our kids' lives. Let's continue. However, his actions have angered activists across the country who fought hard to have the law changed for genuine Transformer citizens. The Ecuadorian Federation of the Reading Rainbow Coalition released a statement denouncing Ramos' outlandish actions earlier this week. This man's private matter to obtain custody of his daughters isn't the spirit of the law, prominent Transformer activist Diane Rodriguez, Ecuador's first Transformer Assembly member and national director of the Ecuadorian Federation of the Reading Rainbow, told VIC World News. Rodriguez also told the outlet she first thought this was fake news, but now we are afraid that in the assembly things will go backwards and they will start legislating against us. Meanwhile, the custody battle between the dad and his ex-wife is ongoing. I am not surprised that the Skittles army would have a problem with this. Look, as goofy as this whole ordeal is, the fact that this man had to go to this length to have custody of his kids tells you everything you need to know. Just let the man have his kids and stop with the BS. Even if it's 50-50 custody, allow the man to be a part of his daughter's lives. He's not doing anything illegal or harmful to his kids, so why can't he be their father? Do you know why? It's because of the love of money, that's why. Sad, it's disgusting that we do stuff like this and think we are righteous human beings. And by the way, have you guys noticed that it's only in recent times that so many people are starting to live alternative lifestyles? Just think about it and tell me if I'm wrong. All of a sudden, people want to start doing stuff that a couple of decades ago, in recent history, wasn't as widespread. And I'm aware it wasn't accepted, so that's why it would have been less. But it's the same with mental health. Notice that it's now become a big issue, but a couple of decades ago, it wasn't even a problem. Could it be because we have more fatherless homes than ever before and a lack of families being led by men? Just food for thought. Let's continue. Until this matter is resolved, the children have to stay with their mother, Ramos said, as reported by Jam Press. The law is taking away our right to be parents. Changing my official documents is proof of love. Ramos is Ecuador's first reported case of a man taking advantage of the change of gender laws in an attempt to give himself a leg up in a custody case. In the U.S., laws regarding Transformer citizens changing their gender identity differ according to state. There you have it, gents. Another father has to fight to be a father in his kids' lives, and nobody cares. This is how men are treated, and nothing will change anytime soon so that men can have custody of their kids. This is why I recommend hiring a surrogate or having your kids overseas and visiting them instead of moving the entire family back to the States. If the mother allows you to take the kid and stay in her country, then fine. Besides that, leave the kids overseas and support them from afar. Having kids the natural way is not worth it anymore for most men, so if you can't afford any of the alternative methods I recommended, then you shouldn't have kids because clearly you won't have enough money to take care of them. Just understand that I'm not telling you what to do at the end of the day. Try to make the best decision for your life, and hopefully it works out for you so that you can raise your kid to adulthood. On the screen is our Season 3 videos that are filled with uncomfortable truths, so click it right now to see how far the rabbit hole goes.